Carvana benefiting from the strong used car market in its most recent quarter. Total gross profit was up 145%.
But as with many one-time Wall Street darlings, the excitement around the online used vehicle retailer did not last.
What if the very company that promised to transform car buying was actually teetering on the edge of collapse? Carvana's recent announcement has left the entire auto industry buzzing, but not just with excitement, with questions, doubts, and more than a few raised eyebrows. How did a company drowning in debt and swamped by regulatory issues suddenly post its first profitable quarter in years? Is this the beginning of a bold new chapter, or just a temporary high before another downfall? Buckle up, because Carvana's shocking financial twist might be hiding more than meets the eye. A startling announcement rocks the market. Carvana's recent announcement has sent shockwaves across the automotive industry, sparking a mix of excitement, skepticism, and plenty of rumors. Just when the industry had nearly written them off, Carvana managed to pull off what many thought impossible, their first profitable quarter in what seems like ages. But there's more to this story than meets the eye. Despite declining revenues, Carvana has reported a significant boost in profits, largely attributed to a series of drastic cost-cutting measures that some say are borderline extreme. With these actions, Carvana slashed annual expenses by over $100 million, raising eyebrows across the sector. However, whispers among insiders hint that the company may be banking on more high-stakes moves to keep itself afloat, moves that could prove risky if they don't play out as expected. This announcement has led many to wonder, is this the start of a real comeback for Carvana, or are we witnessing a desperate gamble? The company's rapid growth and equally rapid financial decline in recent years have already left the industry buzzing with rumors and doubt. Some are speculating that the sudden profitability might be more of a mirage than a meaningful milestone. Could Carvana's latest numbers merely reflect a temporary boost rather than long-term sustainability? Are we about to see the company rise to new heights, or is this just another blip in an ongoing financial roller coaster? A high-stakes business model. When Carvana entered the market in 2013, it came with a vision that seemed like a breath of fresh air in the auto industry. The promise was simple yet groundbreaking, using technology to create an online platform where consumers could purchase vehicles without ever stepping foot in a traditional dealership. Carvana's innovative approach, including its now iconic car vending machines, seemed poised to reshape the car buying process. And for a while, it did just that. By 2021, Carvana had become the second largest used car retailer in the United States, trailing only CarMax. Yet Carvana's meteoric rise wasn't without its setbacks. The company's infrastructure struggled to keep up with its rapid expansion, leading to logistical nightmares that impacted customer experience. In states like Illinois and Michigan, Carvana faced legal challenges after failing to comply with title transfer regulations, leaving customers in the lurch for months without legal proof of ownership. These challenges caught the attention of state regulators, who imposed penalties and restrictions on the company. But Carvana's high debt levels were another issue altogether. With massive fixed costs and a complex logistical network, Carvana found itself grappling with more than it had bargained for. As demand fluctuated, the company's aggressive growth approach began to feel more like a burden than a competitive edge. Push to reduce costs. Amid mounting challenges, Carvana took a drastic approach, a sweeping series of cost-cutting measures to regain financial footing. The company's recent announcement to slash operating expenses by a jaw-dropping $100 million annually marks one of the most aggressive cost-cutting campaigns in the automotive sector. As part of this, Carvana laid off roughly 2,500 employees, accounting for about 1-2% of its workforce. The layoffs were a controversial move, especially given the way they were handled. Some employees reported receiving layoff notifications over Zoom or via email from CEO Ernie Garcia III. Many felt this approach lacked empathy, with former staff voicing feelings of shock and frustration. For Carvana, these layoffs were positioned as a necessary move to survive in a tightening market. Overexpansion during peak growth years led to overstaffing and unsustainable fixed costs, something the company could no longer afford to maintain. Moreover, Carvana faced criticism for its decision to acquire ADESA, a significant vehicle auction company, while struggling with high debt. The acquisition was supposed to streamline Carvana's inventory management and reconditioning processes, but industry experts are concerned about the timing of this decision. Some even claim that this might be a costly blunder that could add even more financial strain to Carvana's already stretched resources. Tom Hamilton, an automotive market analyst, commented, "Carvana's cost-cutting is impressive, but acquisitions like ADESA may turn out to be missteps. They need leaner operations, not more financial weight on their shoulders." The company's strategy of aggressive cost-cutting, though potentially beneficial in the short term, has left many investors questioning whether Carvana's profitability is sustainable. If these cuts are not balanced with efficient growth strategies, Carvana could find itself in an even tighter corner down the road. The pandemic surge and post-pandemic slowdown. Carvana's path to profitability is heavily intertwined with the highs and lows of the pandemic-driven market. During the early days of COVID-19, Carvana experienced a surge in demand for used vehicles as more people shifted to private transportation and online shopping. The company's digital-first approach and contactless vehicle delivery model made it particularly attractive to consumers looking for safe, convenient ways to buy cars without the risks of in-person shopping. By the end of 2021, Carvana had sold over 1 million vehicles, a major milestone that helped cement its place in the market. However, as the world gradually returned to normal, the used car market cooled off, and Carvana's meteoric rise hit a speed bump. The demand spike was not sustainable, and Carvana struggled to adapt to the new market conditions. Used car prices began to normalize as supply chains stabilized and interest rates increased, leading to a significant drop in Carvana's profit margins. To cope with the changing market, Carvana made significant adjustments to its inventory management and pricing strategy, hoping to better align with the realities of a post-pandemic world. Yet, this adjustment period has proven difficult, with competitors adapting quickly to the shifting landscape. While traditional dealerships are investing heavily in digital capabilities to rival Carvana's model, other online platforms like Vroom and Shift have intensified competition in the digital marketplace. As Carvana faces a crowded and competitive market, the company's ability to stay profitable remains uncertain. Its aggressive cost-cutting measures might buy some time, but market analysts warn that long-term success will require more than just leaner operations. It will need innovation, agility, and perhaps most importantly, a clearer path to reducing its debt. Carvana's profitability announcement may have given it a much-needed boost, but whether this will be enough to sustain its market position in a cooling used car market is a question yet to be answered. An innovative beginning from disruption to debt, Carvana's innovative approach has always been both its biggest strength and greatest risk. Since launching, the company aimed to revolutionize the car buying process by removing the middleman and focusing on a hassle-free online experience. It was an ambitious concept that quickly caught the attention of investors and consumers alike. The company's unique car vending machines and online purchasing model created a buzz in the industry, allowing customers to browse, finance, and purchase vehicles all from the comfort of their homes. But as Carvana pushed for rapid expansion, their innovative edge became a costly gamble. Instead of taking a gradual, measured approach, Carvana took on significant debt to grow its logistics network and support massive inventory demands. This strategy was a high-risk, high-reward play, but one that started to backfire as logistical costs spiraled and delivery issues led to customer dissatisfaction. A company that once prided itself on simplifying car buying became known for missed deadlines and delayed paperwork, damaging its reputation. In one particularly embarrassing instance, Carvana faced regulatory issues in Illinois and Michigan after failing to comply with state laws requiring timely title transfers. Complaints poured in from customers who had purchased cars but waited months to receive the necessary documentation to legally drive them. These regulatory run-ins served as a wake-up call, forcing Carvana to reevaluate its practices and spend heavily on compliance. But by then, the financial strain was evident. The company's commitment to innovation had created an operational model that was increasingly unsustainable. Scaling too quickly, overexpansion, and operational woes. Carvana's rapid expansion across the US was a double-edged sword. On one hand, it allowed the company to capture a broad market quickly, but on the other, it exposed a glaring weakness in operational capacity. Carvana's infrastructure wasn't built to handle such an overwhelming demand, and the cracks began to show. The company scrambled to meet orders and began struggling to manage its vast inventory, leading to longer delivery times and unhappy customers. To support its rapid expansion, Carvana made the controversial move of acquiring ADESA, a major player in the vehicle auction business. The acquisition was supposed to help Carvana streamline inventory management and cut down on reconditioning time, but critics argue it was a poorly timed decision. While Carvana's leadership defended the purchase as a strategic investment, industry insiders have raised concerns about the company's mounting debt, especially as the used car market begins to cool. According to automotive analyst Frank Thompson, Carvana's acquisition of ADESA made sense on paper, but in reality, with their financial pressures, this acquisition is like adding fuel to a fire. The company is now dealing with debt on top of debt. Beyond Odessa, Carvana also made substantial investments in logistics infrastructure to try to keep up with demand. But as growth slowed post-pandemic, Carvana's overextended logistics network became a costly burden rather than an asset. The added debt from these expansions, coupled with the declining demand for used cars, left Carvana in a financial bind that continues to weigh heavily on its bottom line. The cost of convenience compromises on customer satisfaction. One of Carvana's main selling points has always been its commitment to a seamless, customer-friendly experience. The platform allows buyers to view high-definition 360-degree photos of vehicles, apply for financing, and complete their purchase without ever stepping into a dealership. For customers seeking transparency and convenience, this model was a game-changer. However, as Carvana's operational struggles grew, customer satisfaction began to suffer. Reports surfaced of customers facing lengthy delays in receiving their vehicles, often due to Carvana's logistical constraints and inventory management issues. In some cases, buyers reported waiting months to receive titles for their vehicles, a problem that led to legal action in several states. The frustration among customers grew as they realized that Carvana's convenient online process came with unforeseen headaches. Some critics argue that Carvana prioritized growth over quality service, a move that might cost them their reputation if not addressed. Even within Carvana's core offering, the virtual car buying experience, competitors are catching up fast. Companies like Vroom and Shift have launched platforms with similar convenience-driven models and have also upped their game in customer service. Traditional dealerships have even joined the digital revolution, with many adopting hybrid sales models that allow customers to complete transactions online, but with the added benefit of in-person support when needed. This influx of competition has put added pressure on Carvana to restore its reputation for customer satisfaction, a questionable future, profitability, and long-term sustainability. Carvana's profitability announcement marks a significant achievement for the company, especially considering its rocky financial history. But whether this profitability is sustainable is a hotly debated topic among analysts and investors. Carvana's reliance on aggressive cost-cutting measures, including significant layoffs and the consolidation of facilities, has helped it stay afloat for now. Yet some argue that these moves are unsustainable in the long term, especially if demand for used cars continues to stabilize. Another concerning factor is Carvana's debt. The company has a high level of leverage, and with interest rates rising, this debt could become even more burdensome. In response, Carvana has hinted at a possible fundraising strategy to raise $2 billion to help cover operating costs and fund future acquisitions. But critics warn that taking on more debt in an already precarious financial position could backfire. Many analysts believe that Carvana's recent profit announcement may be a one-off rather than a true indicator of long-term success. Morgan Stanley recently raised its price target for Carvana, acknowledging that while the company's turnaround efforts are commendable, they are skeptical of Carvana's ability to maintain profitability without further capital injection. Some financial experts argue that Carvana might eventually need to seek outside investors or even consider merging with a more financially stable partner to ensure its survival. The roller coaster of public perception. Carvana's journey has been a public roller coaster, with initial admiration giving way to serious doubts and recent profits igniting curiosity once more. The company's early success earned it a place in the hearts of consumers and investors alike. The allure of hassle-free car buying and the unique concept of car vending machines helped Carvana stand out. But as issues mounted, so did the backlash, and Carvana found itself under a harsh spotlight. From customer service complaints to regulatory run-ins, the sheen of Carvana's innovative approach began to fade. During Carvana's rapid expansion, customers were quick to sing its praises. The convenience of purchasing a vehicle online was an attractive option, and Carvana's transparency around pricing appealed to buyers tired of negotiating at traditional dealerships. But as delivery delays, title issues, and customer dissatisfaction became more frequent, Carvana's reputation took a serious hit. The backlash was swift, with frustrated customers taking to social media and online review sites to air grievances. Regulatory bodies in states like Illinois and Michigan took notice, and eventually legal action was brought against Carvana for failing to deliver titles in a timely manner. In Illinois, Carvana's dealership license was even suspended temporarily, a damaging blow that raised concerns about the company's ability to keep up with its promises. Amid these challenges, Carvana made efforts to recover, promising to address customer service issues and streamline its logistics. But the damage to its reputation lingered, and many began questioning if the convenience Carvana offered was worth the risk. Now, with their first profitable quarter in years, Carvana is trying to convince both the public and investors that they are back on track. But skepticism remains. A profitable quarter is great, but they've got to show they can keep this up, said analyst Natalie Green in a recent interview. The public is watching closely, and one misstep could erase any goodwill they've regained. Regulatory battles and compliance struggles. One of Carvana's biggest challenges in recent years has been its struggle to comply with state regulations, an issue that has plagued its expansion efforts and dented customer trust. Carvana's rapid growth outpaced its ability to maintain regulatory standards in every state it operated in. Problems began to emerge when customers reported delays in receiving titles for their newly purchased vehicles, a critical issue that caught the attention of regulators. In states like Illinois and Michigan, Carvana's failure to deliver titles in a timely manner led to investigations and even license suspensions. Carvana eventually reached settlements with regulators, promising to improve its compliance practices and speed up title transfers. The company posted a $250,000 bond in Illinois as a guarantee of its commitment to meeting regulatory standards, but the damage had been done. Reports of customers waiting months, and sometimes over a year, for title documents severely impacted Carvana's reputation as a reliable alternative to traditional dealerships. To address these issues, Carvana has implemented a series of internal changes, including employee training programs focused on regulatory compliance and streamlined processes for title transfers. But whether these measures are enough to satisfy regulators and regain customer trust remains uncertain. The auto industry is one where compliance is non-negotiable, and Carvana's history of lapses has put them under a microscope. Critics argue that if Carvana wants to be seen as a legitimate player in the industry, they'll need to not only meet regulatory standards but exceed them. As one regulatory expert put it, they've got to prove that they're committed to playing by the rules, or they risk further penalties and a loss of consumer confidence. Competition intensifies, digital rivals and traditional dealerships adapt. As Carvana struggles with its internal and regulatory challenges, competition in the online car retail space has only intensified. Carvana was once a pioneer in the digital car buying experience, but now they face formidable competition from companies like Vroom, Shift, and even traditional dealerships that are expanding into the digital realm. Each of these competitors has sought to capitalize on Carvana's missteps, improving their platforms and focusing on customer service to draw in dissatisfied Carvana customers. Vroom, for instance, has ramped up its marketing efforts and invested heavily in customer service enhancements, positioning itself as a more reliable alternative to Carvana. Shift, another digital competitor, has introduced personalized services such as at-home test drives and vehicle delivery, offering a level of customer engagement that Carvana has struggled to provide consistently. Even traditional dealerships, once slow to adapt, are now embracing digital platforms that allow customers to complete most of the car buying process online. This hybrid approach, combining online convenience with the option for in-person support, has made traditional dealerships serious contenders in the online space. These developments mean that Carvana's path forward is more challenging than ever. The company can no longer rely solely on its first-mover advantage or its reputation for innovation. To stay competitive, Carvana will need to continually improve its services and maintain customer satisfaction. The landscape of online car buying has evolved, and Carvana is now one of many players fighting for market share. How Carvana adapts to this new reality will determine whether it remains a leader or falls behind. Financial fragility and the debt dilemma. Carvana's financial situation remains one of its most pressing concerns, with a high level of debt that raises questions about its long-term viability. While the recent announcement of profitability is a positive sign, Carvana's financial structure is still precarious. Much of the company's current success rests on aggressive cost-cutting measures rather than organic revenue growth. This dependence on cost reduction to maintain profitability is a risky strategy, especially for a company with significant debt. With interest rates rising, Carvana's debt could become increasingly costly to manage, further straining its resources. To address this, Carvana has floated the idea of raising an additional $2 billion to support its operations and pursue strategic acquisitions. But analysts are concerned that more debt could exacerbate the company's financial instability rather than resolve it. A recent report by Morgan Stanley noted that while Carvana's turnaround is commendable, their financial model is still vulnerable to economic downturns and rising costs. months. The report suggested that Carvana may need a substantial capital infusion or even a merger with a financially stable partner to secure its future. This precarious financial position has left investors wary. Carvana's stock, which soared during its growth years, took a nosedive as financial troubles mounted, and though it has recently regained some ground, its valuation remains far below its peak. Investors are cautious, recognizing that while Carvana's innovative model has potential, its debt obligations could limit the company's ability to invest in future growth. Investor uncertainty, a cautious optimism. As Carvana reports its first profitable quarter in years, the investor community is responding with a mix of cautious optimism and intense scrutiny. After watching Carvana's stock plunge from a high of $60 billion in market capitalization to a meager $723 million, investors are understandably hesitant to celebrate too soon. While the company's drastic cost-cutting measures have shown results, some analysts argue that Carvana is standing on shaky ground. The company's profitability may be more of a temporary relief than a sustainable outcome, achieved at the expense of its workforce and operational infrastructure. Banks like Morgan Stanley have raised their price targets for Carvana's stock, citing potential for growth if the company can continue to streamline operations. However, they also noted that Carvana's long-term success hinges on reducing debt levels and avoiding additional financial strain. Some investors are even calling for Carvana to merge with a more financially stable company to ensure its survival. The notion of a merger has fueled speculation, with rumors circulating that Carvana may already be in talks with potential partners. However, company executives have remained tight-lipped, neither confirming nor denying these rumors. Debt restructuring and the path to stability. One of the most challenging aspects of Carvana's comeback is its debt situation. With mounting obligations and rising interest rates, the company has no choice but to restructure its financial model if it hopes to survive in the long term. As part of its recent turnaround strategy, Carvana has discussed the potential for a $2 billion fundraising round aimed at stabilizing its finances. Yet some analysts are concerned that such an approach may only exacerbate Carvana's debt problem. They argue that borrowing more money to stay afloat is a risky strategy that could push the company to the brink if market conditions take a turn for the worse. To mitigate these risks, Carvana has emphasized its commitment to lowering operational costs and improving profitability without taking on excessive debt. Part of this involves leveraging its logistics infrastructure to reduce costs associated with vehicle reconditioning and delivery, a focus that the company claims will help it improve profit margins. However, competitors are advancing quickly, and Carvana must invest strategically to maintain its position. With the cost of capital rising, any misstep in debt management could spell disaster for the company's bottom line. Adapting to a shifting market. As Carvana works to address its internal challenges, it must also adapt to changing consumer preferences in the auto industry. The used car market, once booming during the pandemic, has started to stabilize, and consumer behavior is shifting. A growing number of buyers now prefer a hybrid purchasing model, one that combines the convenience of online shopping with the ability to interact with a dealer in person. This trend puts Carvana at a disadvantage, as it lacks a physical presence to meet this demand. Traditional dealerships, on the other hand, have started offering online purchasing options, capturing a larger share of this hybrid market. To stay competitive, Carvana has explored ways to enhance the online buying experience. The company has introduced features like high-definition 360-degree views of its vehicles, which allow customers to inspect cars virtually. Yet, the absence of a physical touchpoint remains a limitation. With hybrid models growing in popularity, Carvana may need to rethink its purely online approach if it wants to remain relevant. Industry insiders have hinted that Carvana might consider partnering with a dealership chain to provide physical touchpoints, a move that would help it cater to consumers who still value in-person service. Innovation or decline? With the spotlight on its future, Carvana is at a crossroads. The company's commitment to an innovative, online-only approach has propelled it to great heights, but has also brought it to the brink of financial disaster. Carvana now faces a challenging question. Should it double down on its digital model or adapt to meet changing market demands? For Carvana, the answer may lie in balancing both innovation and adaptability. As the used car market becomes increasingly competitive, Carvana will need to find ways to offer a customer experience that rivals both digital-first platforms and traditional dealerships. The company's leadership has indicated that they are not afraid of change, with CEO Ernie Garcia III stating in a recent interview, "We are prepared to adapt our business model to meet the needs of the modern consumer. Carvana was built on innovation, and we won't stop now." now. His words, though promising, may not be enough to quell investor doubts and market pressures. Carvana's story is far from over. As the company navigates the highs and lows of the used car market, all eyes are on whether it can maintain profitability, address its debt challenges, and regain the trust of both consumers and investors. The journey has been anything but smooth, with moments of remarkable success shadowed by serious setbacks. But as Carvana stands at this pivotal moment, the question remains: will this bold online retailer become the go-to choice for used car buyers, or will it become another cautionary tale of ambition over reach? Let us know what you think. Is Carvana set to make a comeback, or are we watching a slow-motion collapse? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to stay updated on this story and other breaking developments in the car industry. Thanks for tuning in.